What's up, everybody? J-Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always, spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about: football, basketball, and boxing. We on basketball right now. Hot topic: Kevin Durant versus the comedian Ryan Davis. Let's talk about it. So, people who've been watching this exchange that's been getting amplified on ESPN and other social media accounts as well. Everybody talking about Kevin Durant and his comment about offense wins you championships. Or as he said, offense wins you championships, brother. People are going off on him, including comedian Ryan Davis. I don't know if it was his comment on Twitter that Kevin Durant was responding to, but he found a good moment to use Kevin Durant in order to get even more attention for himself, and he's a talented comedian. It was hilarious. It was definitely funny. Although it seemed like it was coming from what you can tell is a casual NBA fan and was just kind of spitting off, not narratives I'll say, but cliches and quotes and things that they say in media to bring attention to defense in sports and its importance, but doesn't account for the entire big picture, which I think Kevin Durant was trying to account for. But nevertheless, Ryan Davis used a lot of facts, sprinkled in some stuff that just wasn't quite accurate if you know anything about basketball or if you really watching the game or if you played. But it sounded good, and like I said, it was hilarious. And if I was Kevin Durant, I'd leave this dude alone as far as going back and forth with him. But we know Kevin, he don't really care. But with that being said, he might be in over his head, so to speak, because Ryan Davis definitely is a funny dude and definitely, I'm sure, got some more ammunition he could come at Kevin Durant with. But let's analyze what actually happened and put some context into this. First of all, Kevin Durant was responding to another tweet. That tweet basically stated that the cliche that they say, offense packs seats, sells tickets, but defense wins you championships. Now that can be looked at in a lot of ways, and if you watch basketball critically, or even any sport, we could talk about professional football too, and other sports, you know that it takes a team effort in order to win a championship or win at any level. But that statement, if listened to literally, makes it appear as though offense is only good for ticket sales and defense is what you need to win a championship. Now, how can that be true? Well, people will tell you, statistics will show that a lot of teams that have won championships in sports, let's stick with basketball, have been typically, as Kendrick Perkins would say, in the top 5 in defensive ratings, because I think he chimed in on this too and tried to go at Kevin a little bit, and that those teams win titles. And you can't win titles just putting the ball in the bucket. Well, duh. You can't win titles just putting the ball in the bucket, just like you can't cook a meal just by heating it up. It takes some ingredients, some preparation. It's a lot that goes into it. But when it comes to the finished product, that's just it. It takes a lot, and a lot goes into it. To say that when Kevin Durant commented offense wins you championships, he did not say defense does not win championships. He just made a point that offense is critical too, which it is. I have yet to see the team put together that is built on strictly defense and come out on top winning championships on a consistent basis. Even in football with the Chicago Bears of '85, the Ravens in 2000, the Broncos in 2015, those teams were heavily stacked on defense, but that's a rarity. The Detroit Pistons, the bad boys, or the 2004 Pistons, who were heavily stacked on the defensive end and were stopping guys, holding teams to all-time lows in points per game, but that's a rarity. You go look at each NBA team Every year there's a team that's the best team defensively. Do they win the championship every year? I think not. Let's look at dynasties, and let's talk about the dynasties we've seen in recent years. The Spurs, they were a good defensive team, no doubt about it. Tim Duncan, he made a lot of all defensive teams, was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. David Robinson as well. When he was there, they had Bruce Bowen. Pop preached defense. But you know what else they was known for? Moving that ball around, hitting them threes, working it through Duncan for his buckets. You know what else I noticed about them teams? When they got stops, they still needed a guy like Big Shot Rob or Tim Duncan or Manu Ginobili or Tony Parker to hit a bucket. The Golden State Warriors won a lot of championships. Steve Kerr definitely preaches defense. Make no mistake about it, because it's important. But you know who's the star of their team? Steph Curry. Now, he gets little credit for defense and plays more than he gets credit for. However, the team as a whole is a team that puts an emphasis on defense. But you know what they known for? Hitting them threes, rotating that ball movement, great offense. One of the best offenses we've seen in the history of the league. Trading threes for other teams' twos. The Los Angeles Lakers, Shaq and Kobe, when they built that team, they didn't go out and say, let's get Robert Horry, let's find a point guard like a Gary Payton, or let's not even say Gary Payton, let's say a Mookie Blaylock. Let's go with that. He locked up a Shane Battier type, Bruce Bowen, Dikembe Mutombo. That's going to be our starting lineup. You don't start your team and just have Marcus Smart, a Bruce Bowen, a Shane Battier, a Draymond Green, and a Dikembe Mutombo type who all lock up, or Ben Wallace from the 04 Pistons, and say, let's go win this chip. Because in the end, you got to put points on the board too. What do they call that when you put points on the board? Oh yeah, offense. When Michael Jordan, who was an all-league defender, but was more known for being one of the greatest, if not the greatest scorer of all time, when he said it wasn't no I-in team, but it's an I-in win, it means give me the damn ball, because I'm going to get a bucket. When Kobe said there's no I-in team, but there's a me in that MF, give me the ball, I'm going to go get a bucket. Yeah, LeBron James got that stop against Golden State in 2016 that will live in infamy on Iguodala. But you know what we also remember? Kyrie hitting that game-winning bucket. Steve Kerr and John Paxson came through a few times for Mike, too. Not with stops, but with what? Threes. Would that be offense? And when Karl Malone got plucked by Michael in Game 6, what do we remember even more than the pluck of Karl Malone? Michael Jordan in a pose, a little around the top of the key, hitting a bucket. Would that be offense? So when the Lakers put a team together in the 2000s to be a dynasty, and people got mad that Shaq broke it up because Shaq was so dominant on what? Offense. He played D too, don't get me wrong. You need both. But just offense or just defense, that don't work. Ryan Davis brought up Mike D'Antoni, never won an offense. Steve Nash, never won an offense, but they didn't win championships. Steve Nash, 2-time MVP, but he didn't win a championship. These guys didn't play hardly any D. They was Olayin people like you would do with a bull, the matador. Let's be serious about it. I do know the Miami Heat put an emphasis on D in the Heato days, and a great offense with Dirk Nowitzki going unconscious and hitting big-time shots, and his players hitting big-time shots, that beat the Miami Heat. And people were like, well, LeBron James, even though they did play some D, he choked. He didn't get enough done offensively. But wait, offense don't win you championships. But when the Spurs beat them in 2014, again, that offense was humming. The way they moved that ball, the way they hit them open shots, the way they got it to the open hand. Did they play D? Of course they played D. You got to be balanced to win championships, especially if you want to be a dynasty. But offense has something to do with it. The Kansas City Chiefs, they stepped up in these playoffs and played better defensively than they have been playing in the season. But you know what? Patrick Mahomes made some spectacular plays with Travis Kelce, especially in the second half. He went pretty much unconscious against the Philadelphia Eagles, who had a great defense. And offense got you a championship, or at least helped contribute to it. Let me be clear. So when Ryan Davis says Kevin Durant's tripping and don't know what he's talking about, first of all, Kevin Durant is right. He is better in his sport than Ryan Davis is as a comedian. So when he's talking about his sport, we should probably listen to him, especially a guy that's been through 6 conference finals, 3 championship games. He knows a little bit about it. A guy that's been on several Olympics teams. He knows a little bit about it. And he's not just saying it from a guy that don't play D, because when he was on Golden State, their defense was better with him than without him. So was Brooklyn, even with their bad experiment. Defense was better with him than without him. Same thing when he got to Phoenix. OKC will tell you about his help on defense too. Hell, Steve Kerr picked him up for the Warriors, not just because he was a great offensive player, but how versatile he was defensively and how he could help with Draymond Green to switch on everything. That mattered. But they still went and got Kevin Durant because he gets buckets. That's offense. They didn't say, let me go find a defensive player of the year and add him to the Warriors and now it's over. They got Kevin Durant because that offense does help you win championships. So we got to consider the whole picture and not be so quick. I know a lot of people still got their panties and their boxes in a bunch because Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors. I get it. You ain't like it. He shut the league down by going there. They recruited him, but he should have turned them down because he lost in a series against them. A series that, even though he didn't play his best, he didn't choke it out. The man averaged over 30, put up buckets, did his thing, lost in a Game 7 on their court to a team that was the best team in regular season history that we ever saw. And you get to a Game 7 on their court, maybe they will win. But yeah, they had an opportunity. They didn't get it done. That's fine. They weren't the favorite going into the series. And you can have your feelings. He still shouldn't have went and played for him. That's fine too. However, they recruited him. Get over it. He's left there since then. When he talks about basketball, he probably should listen though. He probably knows a little bit about it, considering he's one of the 20 best players to ever touch a basketball. Holla at y'all. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know who you looking for. J-Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, get at me in the comments on YouTube. You know I'm on Instagram, at TheVaultJMU414 on Twitter, and of course, what's up TikTok? Holla at y'all next time.